Good evening, I'm Haylee Ficuciello, and before we begin tonight, I wanted to remind everybody that what you're about to hear is my opinion, based on publicly reported information and the actions of New York City officials. Now, let's begin grocery shopping, or at least, let's talk about grocery stores New York City taxpayers are supposedly getting someday. Because right now, the shelves are imagery, the checkout line, imagery, the shopping carts, imagery, but the $70 million price tag, that's very real. Welcome to another chapter in what has become the never-ending saga of Mayor Mamdani. Let's be fair, everybody wants grocery stores to be affordable. Nobody enjoys paying more for eggs, milk, bread, or about everything else. Helping struggling families is a goal virtually everybody cares about. But here's where I start asking questions. If government-run grocery stores are such a brilliant idea, why aren't cities across America already operating a successful supermarket chain? Why isn't Chicago doing it? Why isn't Los Angeles doing it? Why isn't Philadelphia doing it? Because running a grocery store isn't as simple as cutting a ribbon and smiling at the cameras. It's about logistics, inventory, refrigeration, payroll, supplier contracts, insurance, theft prevention, spoiled food. It's a razor-thin profit margin. It's thousands of decisions every single day. And somehow we're supposed to believe New York City Hall is about to outperform companies that have been doing it for generations. Now, that's confidence. Here's another interesting part of the story. Questions were raised about whether shoppers would need identifications connected to memberships or saving programs. The public immediately started asking questions. Wait a second, do I need ID to just buy groceries? Soon after, City Hall clarified that shoppers would not need identification, proof of residency, or proof of income simply to shop. And that certainly is an important clarification. But politically, it raises another question. Why wasn't that crystal clear from the beginning? Because when your administration spends days explaining what you really meant, it usually means the original message wasn't exactly clear. Communication matters, especially when taxpayers are being asked to finance $70 million in experiment. Now here's where politics enters the checkout line. Mayor Mamdani has been outspoken in opposing voter identification laws. Supporters say voters' ID can create unnecessary barriers. Opponents say showing identification is simply a common sense. People can debate that honestly, but critics have pointed out what they see are contradictions. Earlier this year, when New York City hired emergency snow removal workers, applications were required to provide employment documentation, including photo identification as a part of hiring process. Now, working for the city and shopping at a grocery store are obviously two different things. No one suggests otherwise, but politically, comparisons are inventable. If identification is routine in one government interaction, people naturally ask why it becomes controversial in another. Whether you agree with that criticism or not, it's a question public officials should expect. Then comes my favorite part. Construction hasn't really gone underway. No ground opening, no fresh produce, no bakery, no deli, no frozen food aisle, no cashier asking paper or plastic. Nothing. Yet somehow we're already discussing how these stores are going to operate. That's a little like announcing that you've built the world's greatest restaurant before you even poured the foundation. Maybe I'm old school, but I usually like to see something exist before celebrating how wonderful it's going to be. And let's talk about taxpayers, because they always seem to be the ones invited to the party, but they're never allowed to see the bill until afterwards. $70 million? That's not pocket change, that's real money. Money that could fund infrastructures, public safety, street improvements, park, or any number of city services. Instead, New York City is preparing to become a grocery store operator. I'm sure somebody has already designed the logo. Maybe next comes city-owned bakeries or city-owned pharmacies. Who knows? Maybe one day City Hall opens its own hardware store. Government expansion has a funny way of introducing itself. It's always start with just this one program. Look, this proposal may ultimately succeed and may become exactly what supporters envisioned. If that happens, great. The people of New York City deserve success, but success isn't declared during a press conference. Success is earned, success is measured, success is demonstrated, and until those stores actually open, actually operate, actually prove themselves, healthy skepticism isn't negativity, it's accountability. Journalism isn't supposed to cheerlead for politicians, it's supposed to ask uncomfortable questions. Who's paying? Who's accountable? What is the backup plan if it doesn't work? How will taxpayers know whether the investment was worth it? Those aren't partisan questions. Those are reasonable questions. Question every administration, Republican, Democrat, Independent, Socialist, or otherwise should answer. Government works best when transparency comes before applause, when accountability comes before headlines, and when taxpayers receive straightforward questions instead of repeat clarifications. Because once public confidence starts disappearing, it's a whole lot harder to restock those grocery shelves. I'm Haylee Ficuciello, senior correspondent for Englebrook Independent News, and that's my take on the never-ending Mamdani saga. By the way, where's my free bus ride? Just another empty campaign promise. Good night, and thank you for watching.